3.
Okay, cool.
Ricky, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Some good questions. Tell me about digital transformation. Why do you think it's important right now?
Well, yeah, first of all, yeah, thank you for the invitation, Taimour. It's a real pleasure. And second is that I really consider and perceive like digital transformation term as a buzzword at this moment, really, because what I see usually at conferences and guys like evangelists explaining this term is that they spread sort of fear that if guys don't start to act at this very moment, they are screwed. They basically won't exist any longer. And this is why I don't like this transformation really term, because it's something which has been happening all the time. It's like evolution, let's say. And for me this digital transformation is really about like using various tools which makes us like better aware what is happening around us. It's like bringing us from the age where we actually use only our internal feelings and gut feelings for making decisions, like giving us more tools, next to these internal feelings in order to actually make better decisions. And this is what is digital transformation for me. So it's humans, it's still the human plus some machine, or let's say artificial intelligence, whatever, combined in order to make us better in whatever we're doing at this very moment. So this is how I see it.
From where you are in the Czech Republic, can you give me some case studies and stories in how you're seeing disruptive innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, here in Prague, we have a very nice startup located, which is called Good AI. And the guys behind this startup, they invested a tremendous amount of money, their own money, which they earned on other gigs. At this moment, I think it's like I think 50 millions of US dollars that they invested so far. Maybe you're aware of this startup as well. And what they are after is actually to come up with general AI. So really like bringing up a human which can actually learn themselves. So it's very different to the majority of approaches, like like doing neural networks, which is used for specific usage, right? Unlike them, they are really focused on like generic AI, which can learn ping pong one day and maybe reading Mandarin Chinese, the next day, which is cool, I think, So this is one interesting startup which is happening at this moment, at this very time. One of my startups, we actually trying to disrupt HR, human resource, as we know it, for good. Actually getting rid of performance reviews, but change it in order to actually make like better companies. So these are like small tools which are happening, in various areas. Yeah, what to say else? Another startup which we have located here in Prague is focused on analysis of satellites photographies and identification of paths of, for example, cruises throughout the world, and identification of optimization of these paths. So interesting stuff which is going on at this moment. And last but not least, we have, for example, startups which got successfully acquired by Cisco, and this was called Cognitive Security. And this startup actually used AI for intrusion detection on your local networks. So actually identification of hackers before they did anything bad. So
that is impressive. That is impressive.
It is, yes.
That is impressive. What are the challenges on the customer side to buy or adopt these AI technologies, from what you see?
Yeah, what I see personally, actually, in HR particularly, is that these tools or technologies actually will make some people obsolete, or maybe some people will basically lose their power. There are managers who actually work throughout their whole life, and like get step by step on the career ladder up to the top to live in their ivory towers. And these technologies actually can make them obsolete because there are tools which can actually make for joint better discussions, which is better decisions where actually team is coming with these decisions, not the manager themselves, you know, or it's not longer the manager who actually measures and says what is the right salary, you know, and these sort of tools. So basically, I think it's a fear which can actually prevent a company from adoption of these modern tools. Usually it is, but it's a history which is repeating. You know, it's like going in spirals, right? This is exactly the situation from the 20th century when people were actually destroying machines. Well, so it's happening again, and it's just a sign of change, which I
if I'm a startup AI company and I want to sell you whatever it is that I'm doing, let's say the Cisco story you said, my AI will detect intrusion before it even happens. How do you write the business case for something like that? Somebody has to write a business case for something like that. And it's not a common business case to write.
It is not, yeah, it is not. But I must say that, you know, like these guys who sold this company to Cisco,
yeah,
it was like almost 10 years ago. Or no, not that much. Yeah, I would say like maybe 7 years ago. So at that time it was difficult. Like, you know, to sell somebody that your project is some weird neural network, really the black box which you can't actually justify the results. It was hard, but the time has changed, you know. I think it went completely different direction. And at this moment, if you say that, you know, your startup is AI based and there is this deep learning included and machine learning, then I would say that you are almost won, you know. Even though your application still doesn't work at all, everybody's interested, you know. So I think currently it's like one of the preconditions for something for the startups in order to be interesting for the investors. But you have to tell me, because you're investing in startups, right? So I think whenever they have these stickers, okay, AI ready or AI included, I would say that you must be actually smiling internally and saying, okay, yeah, they have something interesting. Because really, I think the age of simple applications like web applications like Instagram or mobile applications like Snapchat, you know, those times are gone. You know, this has been already done. And at this moment, I think, you know, if you would like to succeed, you have to have something which is very hard to be copied, right? And usually it's a neural network, because even you don't understand how the neurons are connected with your own within your own network. So how anybody else can actually copy it. So I think that's why like base your startup on AI, on neural networks, and this kind of stuff is essential at this moment in order to be interesting for the investors and also have something tangible. So
so it's really easy to talk about digital transformation or artificial intelligence. And I think it's easy to talk about the risks of companies not adopting it quick enough. But how are you using this within your own business?
How I'm using these things
for your own business?
yeah, sure. I'm telling you. So, you know, I have founded a couple of companies, and you know, I always thought that I'm fair leader, right? That I'm the one who knows, you know, what should be the right salary for a given guy, and then I know that what is going on with this particular lady, that maybe why is that she's not performing that well how she used to, and I really perceive myself as a let's say god within my own company, right? And then I realized that I'm not fair at all. And one of the tools which we actually use on a daily basis is that. This is the tool which shows you who are the guys with the biggest influence over the others, you know. And these guys actually form sort of dynamic fellowship, which is in charge of leading my own company. So if I'm not actually having this influence, if I don't actually have results, it might be the case that one day I'm not CEO. I'm not part of this fellowship any longer. I'm losing power over my own company. You
Mm.
see, and this is what really brings engagement to the team, because I now anybody can actually be the part of this fellowships if they actually have results, if they actually can persuade others. They don't need to wait for like a performance like peer review with me, and like begging me to become some sort of manager and so on. It's based on their daily actions, activities, and what they deliver towards the rest of the team, uh, in order to make the rest of the team to perceive them as somebody of the value. So this is how I actually drive my own company, and I see that this really works. And you can't do it, like using the gut feeling. You really need to have tools in place in order to actually do lead the company like this and drive the company like this. So.
Okay. How are IT departments and companies dealing with this? Imagine back to a Cisco story. Imagine I am the director of IT at Cisco, and somebody's thinking about, oh my God, there's an AI company that's going to kind of detect the intrusions coming in. How are they dealing with this?
So I mean, you asking for the guys who are like direct competition and losing the jobs actually because of this technology, or you asking for
I don't know. Whatever you think.
uh, so there are actually two views on this one, right? One is IT department at the client, where you would like to introduce any of these like new digital technologies. And fortunately, the situation here changed also a little bit. When I used to be a consultant and technical consultant, and I actually used to travel all around the world and implement these big, huge systems like SAP, Ariba, and all this stuff. It was, these implementation of such systems actually took, like months and years, and it was really cumbersome process, right? With today's technologies which we have at our disposal, like AWS and, for example, TensorFlow from Google and so on, those are all cloud-based applications where you can actually roll them out like straight away, and you don't need to do this rollout throughout the whole company. So basically, you start from the bottom up. You start with a single team. You test the given thing which transforms like company in certain way.
Mm.
And then if you test bed it, and if it works, then basically you go for the third. So I think for IT department at our clients, the current situation is that they might be scared that they are dragging something like foreign into their own infrastructure. That's for sure. It's cloud based, so there are usually like proofs that it works for much bigger companies. So which are relying on the same technologies like AI. And second, for sure, again, we are back into to this question about, or to this topic about the fear. And if you're losing your job because you as a security expert, so you were really treated well because you were able to detect this intrusion, and you actually were in charge of setting up honeypots on your own local networks in order to attract hackers and so on. And now with the software like this cognitive security is coming, you are not needed any longer in this. So actually, I understand. This is a pressure, and IT is changing. The digital transformation is coming to IT. Like industry is changing, so there's this whole army of robots is about to come into every factory. So yeah, there is this fear. I know, but there are other actually jobs, openings, and types of jobs which are accompanied. So I wouldn't be that scared, really.
What kind of new decisions and new questions do you think people are now starting to either make or questions to ask, given that machines now have intelligence and in some cases are very smart, and in every case can make a automated decision and act on it? This has to force human beings, managers, business owners, to ask new questions and or make new decisions. What are the new questions and decisions these people are asking or making?
Yeah, so I would say that it all started with big data. Let's say, it was much much sooner than that. So with the possibility to actually analyze the big data on ongoing basis, maybe even real time, it completely changed the view on how the businesses have been run, right? So instead of gut feeling again, you had data at your disposal in order to see, you know, how your business is doing on a daily basis, right? So people, so most of the businesses which are thriving at this moment is that they are run using data, right? So this has been changed. With the robots, you know, you have even more data, and you can be starting to ask, okay, so you know, I have these cumbersome process which I would like, which I really hate to do. For example, account payables. You know, I don't want to have actually guys who are in charge of paying invoices and accepting invoices and review them. You know, I would like to instead make some automation. So basically, I think we are living in very nice times where AI and you know, all these robots are still dumb. You know, it's like I wouldn't be scared that, you know, we have Skynet coming, you know, and we actually go to singularity, which I think won't happen like in next like 20 years, maybe 50 years. I don't know. We are not there yet. Simply, this AI is still so dumb, you know. So I think there are many tasks which can be automated, and guys in charge of business are actually looking at and now seeing these spots where actually should be automated in order to actually have happier workforce. You know, nobody would like to actually do some dump a repetitive job, right? So I think this is sort of thinking. Even myself, you know, it's like it's starting from simple things like, you know, I don't want to have a lady at our reception opening doors, right? Why there is no automation when actually she can use our internal system like chat system in order to open the doors, right? Like say, okay, whatever robot you would call it, like we call it Monka, for example, at our, like, Monka, open the door, you know. So there should be a command instead of the lady actually going to the door and open the door, you know. So this sort of thinking, I think, is now spreading, that guys are looking for optimization on, you know, how they should work more efficiently.
Very cool. I know I asked a lot of difficult questions.
Well, I wasn't prepared, Taimour, you know, and you haven't sent me these questions in advance, so basically you just make me improvise.
Can I ask you one last question?
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for companies who are laggers?
Yes. Yes, and I don't know why is that we think that each company should be here for, yeah, like, you know, like forever, right? I think the age of companies like the lifespan of Fortune 500 companies is shrinking. You know, it has shrank from 50s, like when it was normal that these Fortune 500 companies were over 100 years old. Now it can be 10 years old, you know, which is the average time, which is cool, I think. You know, like the time, what is happening around us is actually, we can see more dynamic changes, you know. So the company is not relevant any longer, and they can't actually, they don't have this mindset of, you know, like and they are not prepared for the change, then, well, they are not relevant any longer, you know. And you can't really fix it by attending conferences and put them somewhere. If the CEO and if the management is actually not like forward thinking, then the company will sooner or later become irrelevant, and they will disappear. So, you know, I don't believe much in like big transformations of the companies. You know, I really believe that yes, you can keep them for you can keep them alive for a couple of, you know, decades easily, like IBM, HP. They have enough money, you know, in their bank accounts, on their bank accounts. So they will be here, but I can perceive them as a walking zombies, really. You know, like they stopped to be relevant, you know, a long time ago, and the change is very difficult indeed. So I can imagine that maybe for small companies, well, the change is possible if you change, you know, like the head, because usually it starts with CEO and goes further. But for these big companies. Well, I'm not big optimist.
I know you're a futurist. For people who watch my YouTube channels, follow me on Twitter or whatever, if somebody wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
Absolutely. So yeah, I have my Twitter. So the handle is Jiri Fabian, definitely. Then my Gmail account is jiri.fabian@gmail.com. I'm traveling a lot, so basically whenever I'm abroad, I can actually stop by. We can have a tea together, definitely. And as I said, my topics are usually related to HR, to the future of work, particularly. So I like blockchain technology.
So tell me something about the future of work that I wouldn't know about.
Yeah, it's so broad, that let me guess, for example. Um, what you would say that you are solely paid based on the respect which you have with me?
Say that one more time. What would I what?
That you are paid only solely based on the respect which you have by others. Meaning that there are no contracts any longer. You don't have any rate basically. It's only based on your daily actions. What is the value of your results, of your daily actions, what you are paid for. So it might be that you're working very hard and still the rest of the team really don't see the result because you are not able to sell it to them. Maybe you are doing something wrong. Maybe you're doing stuff which doesn't matter to the rest of the team, and you don't receive a dime. And I can see that this might be the direction, where it all goes basically, and it's scary because it makes many people obsolete, let's say, because you would need to work hard on your skill set in order to actually learn new stuff and actually shift what you have been doing, how you have been thinking every now and then, in order to be valuable to the whole group. And with AI, which you ask for example, and robots and so on, as the number of jobs will be shrinking, what you would do with guys which are not, actually up to certain level of intelligence and so on. And there are other stuff which is coming, like CRISPRs. I don't know if you have heard about CRISPRs, but these are these tiny DNA modificators which you can actually even now purchase on Amazon. There are like CRISPR sets, and the way how it works is actually it's small. It's based on RNA, but basically it's a small cell which contains the means how to address certain portions of your DNA genome. So if you would like to, for example, change, I would put it like really in simple way. So if you would like to change the color of your eyes,
yeah,
this particular unit would actually contain the address of this portion of your DNA, and also the unit which actually should replace this sort of chain. So basically your eyes could actually change, and it's quite new technology, and they just tested it on the mice, and they were able to actually fix HIV. So which is cool. No, I think this is the real breakthrough, and you can really check Amazon, where already these sets are being sold. Of course, at the home conditions, you can actually play with things like change DNA of yeast, for example. So basically, your bread would be fluorescent, this sort of. But it's nice tricks, and we're getting there basically. So the manipulation with DNAs, like intelligence and so on, are coming. So people will get smarter. But the question is, do we all want to be smarter and intelligent? I wouldn't say so. So
what? You wouldn't want to be smarter and more intelligent?
me, maybe yes. You as well. But look at, for example, like there was this. This is cool, right? So there was this sperm bank with the sperm coming only solely from geniuses, right? From guys from Mensa with IQ above 150. They got bankrupt. Because there were only that number of ladies who were willing to have that smart kids. Because usually the geniuses, they are guys with Asperger's syndromes and this kind of stuff. So they are not usable like in real life, right? They are geniuses, but only in certain areas. So basically, this got bankrupt. So the question is, would you like to actually risk this in order to actually maybe get more intelligence? Maybe I would actually go for bigger memory. Yeah, that's for sure. That would be me. Like intelligence, IQ. Well, maybe if I'm able to actually specifically target various types of intelligence, like maybe like context switching, being able to really like do several several activities at the same time and not being exhausted by this, which is usually happening, then I would definitely go for it. Otherwise, like general intelligence, well, what is that? It's too fluffy. So these are the topics which are interesting for me, for example.
Very cool. Any other topic that's interesting to you before we thank you for doing this interview with me?
Absolutely. I'm big. I have big interest in cryptocurrencies. What is happening currently. Being Bitcoin, other alt currencies. It's amazing. I don't believe that much in ICOs because I think it's nowadays it's really bloated. I don't know. You know ICOs, right?
Yeah. It's a coin offering.
So what I see, I like the concept. The problem is that you are the investors, right? And most of the projects there, they don't even have the business plan. They don't have anything really written. It's just a marketing. So I think this bubble will burst, but occasionally it will actually be. I think the only I think this is the future of venture investments, for example. So this is why it's interesting for me because we also invest in startups. And I'm a big proponent of decentralized autonomous organizations where basically everything is defined by the smart contracts and everything actually is defined by their own coin. So based on what you have done with the company, then you receive your portion of coins and so on. So I think this is the topic which is very interesting for me because I think it brings more freedom. It brings more let's say collaborative environment, which is exactly what we need. I don't want to have a company as a castle where I actually guard it. This is my team, and you can't actually go away and let them go. I more believe into like fluid organizations. Where actually you have partners which join you for a moment, then they leave. Like small hubs which are created only because of delivery of certain idea, and then disband. And I think this is the world which I would like, and I think these concepts like cryptocurrencies and decentralized autonomous organizations goes exactly this direction. That's why I support it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Jiri, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. This is a fascinating conversation. I love the conversation with the AI that looks at your network and detects.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I love the future of work and how you're thinking about it. I think that's pretty fascinating. And I do believe that the future of investing is in blockchain or cryptocurrencies like that and smart contracts.
Right.
So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you and talking to you more often.